Okay, so I've started the show again. Um, Hang on, I'm just going to type this out here. And yes, here we go. Here's another story about hoarding from the London Sun. Greedy brothers forced to give away 17,000 hand sanitizer bottles they tried to sell for $70 each after massive backlash. Okay, and a pair of brothers who stockpiled 17,700 bottles of dollar store hand sanitizer to sell for $70 each say they've been forced to give them all away. Matt and Noah Colvin from Hickson, Tennessee, have also faced legal trouble after their local general attorney stepped in to investigate price gouging and reportedly took away their supplies. Shocking footage shared across social media shows a garage piled high with boxes of hand sanitizer, face masks, and antibacterial wipes. In a New York Times interview, the brothers say they took a 1,300-mile road trip across two states to fill a U-Haul truck with $15,000 worth of goods. Matt Colvin said they cleaned the shelves of the little hole-in-the-wall dollar stores in the backwoods following the first COVID-19 death in the United States. Colvin has been working in online retail for 5 years. He says he anticipates market trends in order to turn a profit. He admitted they were making crazy money from the pricing, which he also admitted was definitely higher than retail. As stocks depleted across the USA, online stores like Amazon and eBay cracked down on greedy opportunists, inflating prices of the essentials as the globe was engulfed by the coronavirus epidemic. The Colvin story quickly went viral, with scores of social media users coming forward to dub the brothers selfish and greedy. As the abuse began to pour in, the Colvin brothers said they were considering donating the stash, with a statement on Matt Colvin's website now informing customers the supplies would be donated to a local church. Now, I'm really not surprised that people are hoarding and price gouging. What I am surprised about is that people are boasting about this publicly. Again, one would think that they keep stum out of a sense of shame, but no, shame seems to have died in our society. Let's see, Justin Trudeau facing confluence of extremely challenging problems in unprecedented situation, say pollsters. Stakes are very high, and any missteps to handle this daunting inventory of challenges could potentially derail the government. The daunting set of challenges for the Trudeau by an Iranian missile that killed all 176 on board, including 57 Canadians, the Wet'suwet'en solidarity blockades, the coronavirus pandemic crisis, the meltdown in equity markets potentially leading to a recession, the cancellation of the tech frontier oil sands mine, and plunging oil prices are a perfect storm that could potentially derail the government. I suppose I have been ahead of the curve. Everyone is boasting now that they're ahead of the curve. There's a lot of people. But as I mentioned before, Canada is held together by nothing other than inertia. And as I predicted as long ago as 1995, such as the collapse of social trust in my country, that when the government comes to people asking for them to make sacrifices, they are going to be ignored. From the Huffington Post, Trudeau defends not cracking down on borders sooner amid coronavirus crisis. He dismissed suggestions Monday that his government erred by not implementing aggressive steps earlier, including a partial border shutdown to stop the spread of the coronavirus. During a press conference outside of his home, where he is self-isolating after his wife was diagnosed, Trudeau announced the federal government is beefing up actions at the border. Overseas flights will mostly be restricted to 4 airports. Foreign travelers, excluding Americans, will be banned from entering Canada, and airlines will be asked to ban passengers displaying any symptoms of the disease, including Canadians, from flying back home. Now, you might remember that Canada's chief medical officer is a woman called Dr. Theresa Tam, and she announced several weeks ago that the real problem was, not so much the coronavirus, it was the stigma attached to it. And that stigma, means racism. And that is the worst thing, the worst possible thing. And so, now apparently she is singing a different tune. But it's interesting that Inertia and Bits of String says my trail of disgrace. Yes. Uh, Tricky Woo says go to hospital for a cold and they'll order you in ICU and pretend you tested positive for Corona. Shan. I don't know. Probably a good idea to stay away from hospitals if at all possible. You know, I suppose this is what happens when you decide to elect a man child as your prime minister, Princess Rockstar, as I have dubbed him. Let's see, on Friday, Health Minister Patty Hajdu insisted the scientific evidence suggested border shutdowns don't work. The border is not going to contain the virus, she told reporters last week. Canadians think that we can stop this at the border, but border measures are actually highly ineffective and in some cases create harm, noting that Italy, which had tight restrictions on travel early on, is now dealing with a large-scale humanitarian crisis. Well, we know why Italy is dealing with a large-scale humanitarian crisis, because the Italians decided that they were going to import large numbers of Chinese from Wuhan to work in their fashion and leather industries. At a press conference at the National Press Theatre in Ottawa on Monday, Public Safety Minister Bill Blair said he wanted to address the many questions and concerns about border screening since January. All of the actions that have been taken at our borders have been informed by the evidence, the expert advice of public health authorities, he told reporters. For instance, the public health authority, Dr. Theresa Tam, who was persuaded that racism was the real problem. Okay, Trudeau has a beard now, which apparently he grew in order to make him appear to be more serious. I don't think that it's working. Meghan Markle's BFF, Jessica Mulroney, reveals she spent her 40th birthday in quarantine. Oh dear. As husband Ben writes her adoring post gushing over her generous and giving soul. That's what we're all craving in these troubled times, is advice from celebrities. They're just so much better than the rest of us. The Canadian stylist who marked the milestone birthday on Saturday took to her Instagram stories to tell her 385,000 followers about her muted celebrations as people across the world self-isolate in an attempt to slow down the spread of the disease. Posting on Instagram, the mother of three said, "Quarantine birthday is the new rage, and I'm not mad about it." Well, it's glad to see that Mrs. Mulroney remains fabulous during the plague year. Although there is no suggestion Jessica is ill, she is friends with Sophie Trudeau, wife of Canadian Prime Minister Justin, who is currently in self-isolation after testing positive for coronavirus. Sophie, who hires Jessica as a stylist, is one of the 339 Canadians that have tested positive for the virus. It comes as her husband, Ben, who is the son of former Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, posted a gushing tribute to his wife, calling her the most generous and giving soul I have ever met in a sweet Instagram post. The TV host, who turned 44 last week, shared a striking black and white photo of his wife with an adoring caption, saying she makes him feel special all the time. He wrote, "If she has a flaw, it's that she never puts herself first. Also, she may have an issue turning the lights off. She's the most generous and giving soul I have ever met. Today was no different. The night before her birthday and days before the premiere of her show, she met a couple on Instagram and felt she needed to help them have the wedding of their dreams." It comes less than a week after Jessica shared a series of sweet posts for Ben's 44th birthday. in a sweet video posted on Instagram last week. Is she paying the Daily Mail to print this? How exactly does this constitute news? But in this Instagram video, her twins Brian and John 9 and daughter Ivy 6 belted out a rendition of Happy Birthday to Daddy in the kitchen of their Toronto home. The twins, dressed in marching Fortnite times X Nike t-shirts, were swinging back and forth while their little sister Ivy played with a balloon before they all hugged their delighted father. Another post showed Ivy wearing a cute pink jumper covered in hearts, kissing Ben, who was sporting a tiara. Happy birthday to the most wonderful man / dad in the world. Nobody rocks a tiara like you, and I'm the luckiest woman to call you mine. In another, Jessica gushed over her so handsome husband as she showed off her enviable midriff in a red crop top in a smiling photo with Ben. One of Brian Mulrooney's daughters is a cabinet minister in Ontario, and Ben has been tipped repeatedly for leadership of the Conservative Party. I don't know. That's how we pick our leaders now, because we already know their names. Let's see. In other celebrity news, Hilary Duff slams millennial a-holes from still going out partying amid social distancing recommendation for COVID-19. And there is a video attached to this in which Hilary Duff in no way looks completely deranged. She said, to all you young millennial a-holes that keep going out partying, go home. She demanded in a selfie video she posted on her Instagram story. Instagram story? Why am I seeing this phrase again and again? Have they changed the name of the website? Before adding, stop killing old people, please. I don't know. She might want to check in with Vox Day about that. Apparently, the old people, they're all gammas. You know, time for them to shuffle off this mortal coil. At the beginning of the quick clip, the Lizzie McGuire star, 32, asked her 14.7 million followers to suggest some shows for her and husband Matthew Coma to watch now that they're holed up at home. She mentioned that they had just finished watching the dating reality show Love is Blind and that it was, quote, amazing. I'm sure everything that Hilary Duff does and watches is amazing. The actress and singer then mulled over whether to rewatch Game of Thrones to help pass the time at their abode. If we're going to be stuck at home that long, maybe, she added about a possible GOT marathon. It was at this point that she directed her strong words at millennials for not adhering to the social distancing recommendation by health officials. Well, I guess if you ever wanted to know what it was like to live in a matriarchy, now you know. It's like that. Let's see if there's any activity in the chat. Oh, okay, there we go. Prime Minister Pete Davidson. Every time I see that guy, I think, how is he still alive? The guy's looked like a corpse for years now. David Wright says, what did I hear today? Italy is the Puerto Rico of Europe. Or Ian M. says, the Florida of Europe. David Wright, Trudeau is one of us now, closing borders. Yes, okay. Chogokin666 says, I'm totally confused. What the F is going on with this stream? I don't know. Oh, is my Wi-Fi connection being throttled? Actually, it's a direct connection. Buffering intermittently. I wish I could help with that. Jonathan Pohl says Vox is a sub-gamma. I thought Vox Day was supposed to be a Christian. It's not very Christian to wish for the death of a whole generation, is it? Or to engage in in class warfare? Great Lakes Nationalist says quarantine birthday is the new rage, or soothing cope. Okay, Bernard Brightson and Walrus Lawbertarian say the stream is good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Business booming for cam girls amid coronavirus outbreak. You ever get the feeling that you woke up and you're living in an alternative reality? That's the feeling that I've had for the last few days. Coronavirus isn't the only thing causing temperatures to rise across the globe. Cam girls are too. Who wrote this? Sarah Dorn. That would be a pretty sad job to have, wouldn't it? To write stuff like this. Business is booming for sexy solo performers as millions of holed up horn dogs, oh God, look to relieve their outbreak anxiety, XXX workers say. If you're trying to sell porn, having the entire country cooped up at home with nothing to do is kind of a dream scenario, said Los Angeles-based porn star Kate Kennedy. Kennedy, 25, opened an account a week ago on the site OnlyFans, where users pay $10 a month to watch her perform sex acts, fold laundry nude, and brush her teeth. She said she's up to 100 subscribers and has made four figures in tips and fees, about what she typically made in a month. Cam girls and content creators are doing business like crazy, Kennedy said. Miami-based Jocelyn Jane, who hawks sexy solo videos and partner performances on OnlyFans and sells others for $5.99 to $32 on the site ManyVids, says she has raked in about $1,700 a week in tips and sales, up from an average of $1,050. There is a lot going on, said Jane, 29, and we are definitely taking fans' minds off this. Many are feverish with Many are feverish with anticipation. It just must be totally soul destroying having to write this for a living. I guess I'm staying in and watching cam girls all night. At Hologram Matrix tweeted, "Where's my Corona hose at?" Not all sex workers are raking in the Corona cash. Strippers who get up close and personal with clientele are ditching the pole and singing the COVID-19 blues. I have decided to stay as far away from all clubs, said dancer Tyler Faith. I've canceled quite a few appearances. Have to be safe in these times. Amazon warns of delivery delays, running out of items. So I guess in retrospect, was it really such a smart idea to decide that we should have one company, which is essentially the vendor for everything in the world? The online retailer said the increase in people shopping online is having a short-term impact on how it serves customers. In particular, you will notice that we are currently out of stock on some popular brands and items, especially in household staples categories, Amazon said in a blog post updated Saturday. The retailer added that promised deliveries will take longer than usual. We are working around the clock with our selling partners to ensure availability on all of our products and bring on additional capacity to deliver all of your orders. Amazon included a note at the top of its website telling customers inventory and delivery may be temporarily unavailable. Items such as toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and hand soap were listed as out of stock